It is well known that Russell Westbrook is one of the most talented point guards in the NBA. The current Wizards guard is one of the most versatile in the league when it comes to scoring, making plays for others, and even helping his team out in getting rebounds on the other end of the floor. But out of the many games Westbrook has played over his career, which ones stand out as the best? In this video, we will take a look into that question. Before we get into the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel with notifications on so you don't miss any of the new videos we post. April 19th, 2017 versus Houston Rockets. The first game on our list happened back in 2017 when Westbrook was still with the Oklahoma City Thunder. As we all know, Westbrook had to act alone as one of the leading figures for the Thunder in wake of Kevin Durant leaving for the Golden State Warriors. And not having the team's other usual top scorer forced Westbrook to take on a larger role for the team and have some of the best performances in his career individually. This game was one of them. It was notable because he had the highest scoring triple-double in postseason history and also set the franchise record for points in a postseason game. Impressive when you consider how the Thunder have had stronger teams in the past and have even made it as far as the finals, but no individual playoff performance from those teams matches up with this one when you look at it from a purely numbers perspective. 51 points, 10 rebounds, and 13 assists gave Westbrook the triple-double in this game, and it was also added to by a very impressive 4 steals and 1 block. When you add up the total numbers, the impact is made even more clear because of how Westbrook accounted for 72% of his team's points either by scoring directly or making assists. His team, however, would lose to the Houston Rockets in this one as they were able to come back out with the 115-111 win due to the rest of the Thunder not stepping up in the same way that Westbrook was able to. Still, the impressive individual performance from Westbrook is probably one that will be remembered at the end of the day when it comes to this game. He was also able to tie another record with the most assists in the playoff for a player with over 40 points. It just goes to show that while Westbrook had some of his best individual games while playing without Kevin Durant, Durant leaving the franchise ultimately doomed them in the playoffs, despite the great individual performances from Westbrook. March 22nd, 2017 versus Philadelphia 76ers. This one came from the same year as the first game on our list, and while the overall stats aren't as extravagant, this game was special in its own way, and also saw Westbrook manage to record his name in the history books again. He had 18 points, 11 rebounds, and 14 assists, but it just wasn't the triple-doubles or the points total, which was relatively low that made this game more unique compared to any run-of-the-mill regular season matchup. The thing that set this one apart is Westbrook becoming the first player to record a triple-double without missing a field goal or free throw. He was 6 for 6 from the field and also 6 for 6 from the free throw line. And the entire accomplishment was even more impressive because he was able to pull off the triple-double in 3 quarters. The Thunder would choose to rest him for the rest of the game due to having built up a big lead already, and Westbrook could probably come away from the game with more points if it wasn't for spending a quarter on the bench. Considering just how many players have gotten triple-doubles without having a perfect record when it comes to shooting, this one definitely goes in the list of Westbrook's best games, even if scoring 18 points isn't one of his biggest performances in that area. December 17th, 2016 versus Phoenix. We all know Westbrook is one of the top scorers in the league. He's become famous for taking a large number of shots and for generally being in front of the offense with an aggressive play style. But the fact of the matter is that Westbrook can also be a great playmaker when he focuses his game on setting up his teammates. That's exactly what we saw when the Thunder took on the Phoenix back in 2016, and Westbrook finished the game with 22 assists to go along with a 26-point and 11-rebound performance to complete the triple-double. It's rare that you see a player with more than 20 assists in a game, but even rare to see it happen in a 20-plus point game, and one where Westbrook put in work with his rebounding too. There was really no area where he lagged in behind this game, as he led the Thunder in taking home the win. This game was also special for Westbrook because it marked him becoming the fastest player to 50 triple-doubles behind Oscar Robertson and Magic Johnson. Pretty good company to keep considering both of them are Hall of Fame legends. Shockingly enough, this isn't even the only game of Westbrook's career where he had 20 or more assists in a triple-double, but on the other hand, the 50 triple-doubles accomplishment makes this one a bit more significant compared to the others, as well as the overall impressive all-around performance, which featured scoring and rebounding too. April 2nd, 2019 versus Los Angeles Lakers. This is one of the last games that Russ would play for the Thunder, coming before his move in 2019 to the Houston Rockets. But before that move happened in the following summer, only a few months after this one, Westbrook would leave the Thunder with one of his more signature performances in this game against the Lakers. This is another one of those games where he had 20 more assists in a triple-double. However, the real impressive factor was how he spread his performance out across all major categories. Westbrook finished the game with 20 points, 20 rebounds, and 20 assists, and the Thunder would walk off the floor that night as the winners. His performance, of course, played an integral part in them taking home that victory. He also joined Wilt Chamberlain as the only other player in NBA history to have a 20-20-20 stat line in a triple-double, and pulled the feat off for the first time since 1968. It's not the only record that Westbrook has broken, but it does look like this one will hold on for the foreseeable future, more than some of his others. The game also had some sentimental value to Westbrook, as he would dedicate the performance post-game to Nipsey Hussle, a famous rapper who was also from Los Angeles, and just like Westbrook himself, and had died only a few days before the game. April 9th, 2017 versus Denver Nuggets. 2017 was a big year for Westbrook and the Thunder, Thunder, you can probably already tell from the 2 other games from 2017 that have been mentioned in this video. Just like those other games, this one has specific significance to it that sets it apart from being just a regular good performance. In this case, it has to do with the records broke again, and how Westbrook was able to break Oscar Robertson's record for most triple-doubles in a season during this win. In this case, the triple-double we saw here was his 42nd of the season. But not only that, he had a huge scoring and rebounding performance with 50 points, 16 rebounds, and 10 assists. At times like this, you can see clearly just how much Westbrook stepped up with his solo performances once Kevin Durant had left, and the Thunder were lacking in talent in more than one area. It obviously wasn't enough to give them playoff success in the years after Durant made the jump to Golden State, but games like these did set Westbrook apart and help him win the MVP award. In the case of this victory in specifics, it took the Nuggets out of playoff contention at the last minute, as Westbrook was able to cap off his strong individual game with a buzzer beater that took home the win for the Thunder by a single point. It would be hard to write a more cliche sports story if you wanted to, but everything that happened in this game and this season at large is all very real. March 29th, 2017 versus Orlando Magic. This is another one from the year 2017 and is another impressive scoring performance on top of being another triple-double for Westbrook. The Thunder happened to be taking on the Orlando Magic on this night and took home the win in overtime. As for Westbrook's statistics personally, he finished with 57 points and 13 rebounds and 11 assists. Just the scoring or even the triple-double isn't the most impressive aspect of this game. However, the Thunder ended up down big time in the second half during this one. They ended up in a 21-point hole at one point, and they were still down by 10 going into the last stretch of the game, with about 8 minutes left in the regulation. Despite the deficit, Westbrook would play a big role in bringing the Thunder back and letting them force the game into overtime, as he picked up more points, assists, and then hit a game-tying 3-watch, which kept the Thunder alive under the 10 seconds left in regulation. During the overtime period, we would see the Magic continue to fall apart, and Westbrook and the Thunder continue to expand their new lead until the final whistle was blown, and they walked away with the late victory in this one. Just like his other biggest games that season, this performance would help with Westbrook winning the regular season MVP award in the year without Kevin Durant. He still hasn't been able to find the same playoff success as his former leading teammate, either with the Thunder or with the Houston Rockets in the failed experiment that saw him sent to the Wizards. But who knows? Maybe we'll see things change in DC, and Westbrook will end up taking home his second MVP award, postseason silverware, with the Wizards. It hasn't been the best start for the Westbrook era in Washington, but we know that the point guard still has something left in him, and his career track record shows that he can truly be a dominant talent at times.